So the live show that I saw of yours, it was like, I don't know, 8 or 9 songs into the set before you featured a country song, and I was like, I'm looking at your audition, your blind audition, where you get the chairs to turn. That's a country song. Then they ask you to
Mhm.
yodel, and that's a country song. And then they're featuring this country girl from Northeast Texas. And man, you got a vibe in your voice that's a little bit different than that in your live shows. It's more Janice than Leanne Rhymes, is what I was telling my wife this morning.
Yes.
There's a lot of Janice in there behind that yodel as well. I want to hear you talk about how, like, your influences kind of shape what you decide to sing and play and put out there as an artist.
Yeah. For me, like whenever I sit down and write original material, even it is definitely heavily inspired by like some of the more rock
Yeah.
influences that I've had in my life.
Hmm.
And because it's so hard to write a classic country song, especially now.
Yeah.
And
Because it's
while
all
that
been
is
said,
something that
right?
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
While
Yeah.
that's something that I love to pursue, I love classic country. Love it with my whole heart. I grew up listening to classic country.
Hmm.
And but whenever I sit down and I write a song, I sometimes catch myself, I'll even write pop songs by accident. I don't mean to, but
Not a
it's
problem
just
with that.
there.
Yeah, that's great. I love that you auditioned with a Freddie Fender song.
Mhm.
I mean, there's not too many people here in the 21st century who even know who Freddie Fender is, especially outside of Texas, right? Like, you and I are in
Right.
Texas. Freddie he still has a presence here in Texas, right? So like I'm sure you grew up on that kind of sound, that Tex-Mex sound. Did you choose your
Mhm.
audition song? Were you allowed to choose that?
Yes, I did get to choose that.
And so why did you choose Freddie Fender?
Um, I well, originally I chose it because I wanted to show off the Spanish part. I
Yeah,
wanted to sing the Spanish,
which is
but when all came down to it, when it all came down to it, it was said and done, and we didn't have enough time for it.
yeah.
So we ended up just using the English parts.
Well, there's some edginess in your voice, especially with a song like that. That song does have some yodeling aspects to it. So,
Mhm.
I think it's a smart choice because you can show your vocal control to these professional artists, so to speak. And
Right.
I think it was a really brilliant choice to showcase what you can do vocally. I've always wanted to ask this to a voice artist, and I've had several on the show, and for some reason I've never asked it. I imagine as you're performing and a chair turns, that's going to be exhilarating. So, do you prepare for that possibility and practice for it? Like, how do you continue to perform through that?
Oh, yes. Well, see, now I have had this asked to me before, but for me, I think it's different than maybe some of the other artists that went out because
Mhm.
when the first chair turned, I didn't notice. I didn't even know they turned around. So, I start center stage and then I go to one side and then I walk to the other. By the time I got back to the middle of the stage and looked up, that's whenever I realized, oh my goodness, Michael and Kelsey just turned around.
So you're in the
I didn't even
moment
know they
then.
had turned. Yes, I was so caught up in the moment. And that's what I told myself going out there too. I was like, just go out there, do it how you know how. And, just remember this is your passion regardless of what happens.
Yeah, and so I mean, the very first thing you're a country girl, so Kelsey turning had to be freaking exciting as hell, I imagine for you.
Oh, 1000%.
Yeah, I can't imagine what that's like. And then I mean, shoot, Michael Bublé is no slouch either. Let's be honest, but like this is Kelsey's first season, and she's looking for artists exactly like you. So that has to be like I got goosebumps just thinking about it. Like that's crazy. Um, and then to be asked to sing a second song,
Mhm.
which does not happen on these shows. It does not happen, and you were prepared for that as well. And I gotta, if you're not familiar with what happened to Hailey on stage, they immediately, especially Kelsey, noticed the yodel that was there, which again, the choice of song is what showcased that. And then she mentioned the song Blue, which was made famous by Leanne Rhymes, and you knew the song. So,
I
and
did.
sang like part of the song. How do you know that song?
Oh my goodness. Well, so funny story. While growing up, yes, I did listen to a lot of classic country.
Hmm.
I've only heard that song maybe a handful of times, 3 or 4 times that I
Yeah.
could count. And going out there, whenever she asked that out, I was like, oh, I don't know, but I'm not going to tell her no.
No, of
Of
course
course, I'm
not.
going to
Yeah,
do it.
yeah, yeah. You never say no
So
in
yeah,
the entertainment business, ever, ever, ever. I'm gonna tell you a little,
never.
yeah, ever. Even if you can't do it, you say yes always. I'm gonna tell you a bit of a story on that song. My uncle was the very first person to perform and release that song on a record. The song "Blue,"
Really.
1963. Yeah. Yep.
Oh my goodness, that's
He
amazing.
was a world champion yodeler by the name of Kenny Roberts, and when Leanne came out with the song, they were marketing it as a first time release. The song had never been released. They marketed it as supposedly written for Patsy Cline. The song was written by a guy named Bill Mack, and my uncle sued Sony because he released the song in 1963, and they were trying to say that it had never been released and all of this hogwash, and he won. They settled and everything. It was crazy. But yeah, you
Oh my
can, guys,
gosh.
if you're out there, and we have a lot of songwriting nerds on the show watching. So go look up that story, Kenny Roberts' "Blue." It's a fantastic rendition. But that's where the yodel came from in that song, was from my uncle. My uncle put that in there. So.
Oh my
Um,
goodness. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up too.
Please do. I would love to hear your 2 cents on that. Like, listen to the song. Tell me what you think. Um, but yeah, so you got to sing the song. You've only heard it like 4 or 5 times, and you nailed it. And now you have a choice to make, Michael or Kelsey. This is really not a choice for you, I imagine. It was probably right there all along. What's it been like working with Kelsey?
Oh my gosh, working with Kelsey, she is the biggest sweetheart. My goodness. She really is like an older sister.
Yeah,
She has
she gives
she's
that
just been
vibe.
phenomenal. Yes, yes.
What's the number one
She
thing
even
you've
told me
learned from
whenever
her
I came
so
off the
far?
stage.
Go ahead.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, she even told me whenever I came off the stage, she was like, "I'm gonna be like your big sister." You know, of course, my dad and sister are behind the stage there to the side. And Kelsey walked off with me and she went over there and she was like, "Well, I know you're kind of her big sister, but I'm gonna be like the other big sister now."
Okay, so fighting over siblinghood.
Right.
So yeah, what's the number one thing you've learned from her so far through the journey?
She's really taught me how to like open up and be more myself on stage.
So getting over that shyness factor.
Yes, yes.
So again, I gotta say to folks out there watching, Hailey's been doing this for a little while. She's been on stages. I don't see shy in you when I see your shows. But being on a stage with all of these lights, knowing that there's 5 million people watching on all of that, it's a little bit of a different thing, isn't it?
Oh yeah, big time.